Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai Imam. Come to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu empowers Icrc to approve PPP projects below 20 billion naira. Senator Natasha arrives at Abuja court for second arraignment. Plus, hundreds of families of displaced persons by wave of Israeli airstrikes on Gaza. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. First on the news at this hour is that President Bola Tinubu has approved a new policy authorizing the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission (ICRC) to independently approve public-private partnership (PPP) projects below 20 billion naira. A statement by the ICRC Director General Jepson Ewalofo, released by the acting head of media Ifeanyi Nwoko, said the change eliminates bureaucratic delays that characterized approval of small and mid-scale projects by MDAs. The statement was also confirmed by the presidency. Owalafor further said that the process would involve approving PPP thresholds for ministries, departments, and agencies, which will help accelerate Nigeria's infrastructure revolution. And also under the directive, ministries can now approve PPPs under 20 billion naira, while agencies and parastatals can handle those below 10 billion naira. The policy is designed to fast track project delivery and attract more private investment into. It allows MDAs to approve projects below specified thresholds under the ICRC guideline, thereby supporting all scales of projects and encouraging broader private sector investments in PPPs. In the meantime, the presidency has stated that, contrary to claims in some quarters, President Bola Tinubu's visit to St. Lucia is for strategic engagement, not a vacation. Tinubu arrived in Verx Fort St. Lucia early yesterday, sparking claims in some quarters that the president had gone to the Caribbean nation for a vacation. However, presidential is serious and uninformed. Away from that, the federal government has declared a state of emergency on the construction of the Suleja Mina Road. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, made this known during an inspection of the road. Umahi explained that the road project was awarded initially to Salini Nigeria Limited, but work had either been done badly or abandoned at some point, and efforts to get them to repair the road over a year and a half had been unsuccessful. He said that the Niger Governor Mohamed Bago had raised concerns directly with President Bola Tinubu, who directed the ministry to intervene. He described the road as being in a very terrible situation, delaying travel time by 7 hours instead of an hour and a half hours, and vehicles are falling and killing people. Umahi explains that the Silaja Mina Road was an inherited project from the past administration, adding that the problem has been the contractors. He said that the contractors were funded and they worked, but all the work they did failed. From the Green Chamber, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has promised to provide a 100 million naira startup capital to graduates of a vocational and skill acquisition center in Zaria Federal Constituency. He made the pledge while addressing graduating students of the Zainab Ahmed ICT Vocational Center in Zaria As part of the activities marking its second anniversary as Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives, he urged them to be creative, noting that ICT has broadened the scope of knowledge. The event was attended by some federal lawmakers and members of the Kaduna State House of Assembly. In a separate development, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has reacted to reports claiming he has stepped down from the position. The rumors, which circulated across various social media platforms, alleged that Akume had been relieved of his duties and replaced by Hadiza Bala Usman. Reacting to the development in a statement issued by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Akume refuted the claim, branding it as baseless and deceptive. According to a statement signed by Shegun Imosien, Director of Information and Public Relations, Akume is still the SGF and continues to enjoy the full confidence of the presidency. According to reports, the purported removal of the SGF from office is only but a fabrication and figment of the imagination of mischief makers who are out there to disinform and misinform the public, stressing that Senator George Akume remains the secretary to the government of the Federation. Kogi Central Senator Natasha Kotu today arrived at the Federal High Court Abuja for a second arraignment on alleged defamation of the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Governor of Kogi State Yahaya Bello. She was accompanied by her husband Emmanuel Udwagan, activist Aisha Yusufu, and her supporters. Justice Mohammed Umar of the Federal High Court would preside over the case today. Meanwhile, Senator Natasha was arraigned on a similar charge June 19, 2025, at the Federal Capital Territory High Court. At the last hearing, the judge refused the request by the federal government to have Senator Natasha arrested for failing to appear for the trial. According to the charge sheet, Senator Natasha had alleged on a live television program that Akpabio and Bello were plotting her assassination. The Nigerian government, through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, had instituted the lawsuit bordering on defamation against the senator. Moving now to security matters, where armed policemen have taken over the Wadata Plaza, the headquarters of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja, as tension continues to mount over the party's National Executive Committee meeting, which is expected to hold today. The police also disallowed a member of the party's board of trustees, Maina Shiroma, from entrance into the premises of the secretariat. Reports say an official of the party who spoke to newsmen off camera said that the police were deployed to stop the proposed NEC expanded caucus meeting. Though some staff members of the party were initially allowed to go into the premises of the secretariat without any resistance from the police, they were later sent out. Journalists were also being asked to leave the premises of the secretariat. Moving down to Africa, where Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati has condemned Israel's attacks on Iran's nuclear facilities and emphasized the importance of sustaining the current ceasefire between both countries. Abdelati made this known in Cairo while speaking with reporters. He was joined by his Austrian counterpart, Bedni Benial, during her visit to Egypt. Recall that on June 13, Israel started bombing Iran's nuclear facilities and reportedly assassinated top military figures and scientists. Iran retaliated by firing hundreds of ballistic missiles at Israeli cities, killing dozens. Gaza say Israel has carried out a wave of airstrikes across the Gaza Strip, triggering the mass displacement of hundreds of Palestinian families. According to local reports, rescue teams recovered the bodies of 5 people, while dozens of injured civilians were evacuated to Al Ali Hospital in Gaza City. The bombardment followed one of the largest evacuation orders issued since the war resumed in March. It comes amid increasing pressure on Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to refocus efforts to reach a ceasefire agreement. One of the strikes reportedly hit a school in Zeltan that had been sheltering displaced families. The 5 fatalities reportedly occurred in a strike at the Al Shanti camp to the west of Gaza City. Meanwhile, the Israel Defense Forces had earlier ordered residents to leave large parts of northern Gaza in anticipation of the attacks. Most of those displaced overnight moved westward within Gaza City rather than to the southern region, I beg your pardon, as instructed by the IDF. Still in the foreign scene, Israel's ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, says peace in the Middle East largely hinges on the decisions and actions taken by the Iranian government. In an interview, Freeman described Iran as the only country whose leadership has openly threatened to annihilate another nation. He stressed that such threats continue to fuel instability in the region and beyond. Freeman criticized Iran's internal leadership, calling its government dictatorial and brutal, and noted that the people have not been given the opportunity to freely choose their leaders. He also warned that the Iranian regime is a threat not only to its own people, but to other countries. Still to come in the news. Nigeria's Super Falcons swore past Ghana, Kira for WAFCON. Stay tuned for details of this and more in a moment.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. They are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Risk on your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. On our business news, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery says it will absorb over 1.707 trillion naira annually in its plan to distribute fuel directly to marketers nationwide. The refinery said it invested over 720 billion naira to implement the initiative of deploying 4,000 compressed natural gas powered trucks for the nationwide distribution of petroleum products, saying it was expected to save Nigerians over 1.7 trillion naira annually. The initiative, which aims to eliminate transportation costs for fuel marketers and large-scale consumers, is also expected to help reduce pump prices and inflation. According to a statement, the aim was to meet Nigeria's steady consumption of 65 million liters of refined petroleum products, which includes 45 million liters of premium motor spirit, 15 million liters of diesel, and 5 million liters of aviation fuel. Still in business, marketers of petroleum products have expressed anticipation of a possible crash in the prices of premium motor spirit following the drop in crude oil prices. The Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria said there could be a new price regime from today based on the reduction in the cost of crude oil. Reports say the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, and other fuel marketers have kept petrol prices above 900 naira per litre despite the decline in the price of crude oil. On our health news, the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, ACPN, has raised the alarm over what it described as a silent but dangerous epidemic ravaging the country's youth and endangering national stability. The group said the surge in drug abuse across Nigeria has evolved from a public health concern into a looming national security threat. The drug specialists warned that unless urgent and coordinated prevention strategies are adopted, the crisis could spiral into unmanageable levels. Speaking in a statement, the national chairman of ACP and Eze Ikwemaka expressed concern over the widespread substance abuse, with youths increasingly falling victim to hard drugs, diverted pharmaceuticals, and unregulated access to potent medication. The pharmacist body called for tighter regulations on the supply chain of controlled drugs, increased public awareness through media and schools, and a more empowered role for community pharmacists in delivering early intervention and education services. We move down to sports where Nigeria's Super Falcons delivered a commanding performance in the final preparatory match ahead of the 2025 Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON, defeating Ghana's Black Queens 3-1 in Casablanca yesterday. The friendly served as a key test of readiness before the continental tournament kicks off next weekend. The result marked Nigeria's second win in their pre-tournament friendlies after a goalless draw with Portugal last week and a victory over Cameroon's indomitable Lionesses. Still in sport, Paris Saint-Germain streamrolled Lionel Messi's Inter Miami 4-0 to reach the Club World Cup quarterfinals. Miami hoped the Argentine superstars' magic could help them produce an unlikely result against his former side, but the Major League Soccer side were dismantled in Atlanta while Luis Enrique's rampant European champions Messi and his former Barcelona teammate Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba had done well to reach the last 16, but the gulf in quality between the teams was laid bare over the 90 minutes. Joe Neves netted twice for PSG, who benefited from a Thomas Aviol's own goal, while Akraf Hakimi also was also on target. After Neves opened the scoring early on, Miami resisted until PSG hit three goals in 10 minutes towards the end of the first half. Last on the news at this hour in entertainment, Nigerian social media activist Vincent Ose Martins, popularly known as Very Dark Man, has shared an alleged voice recording between Sam Larry, Nigerian music promoter and Nigerian singer Zlatan Ibile, discussing the death of the late singer Mobad. The recording, which has gone viral, appears to feature Zlatan Ibile conversing with Sam Larry in Yoruba. Zlatan expressed his reluctance to get himself involved in the controversies surrounding Mobad's death, citing the drama that speaking out on social media brings. Very Dark Man, who shared the recording on his Instagram page, has given Zlatan a 48-hour ultimatum to publicly address the situation and explain his silence during the initial calls for the justice of Mobad. Still on our entertainment news, popular gospel singer Israel Theremba, popularly known as New Jerusalem, has passed away at the age of 53. News of his death has sparked widespread mourning across Benue State, particularly within the Christian community, where he was revered for transforming Tiv Swange music into a powerful medium for spreading the gospel. The former governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, in his tribute, described Iyevere as a devoted Christian whose music resonated far beyond Nigeria's borders. And that's all we have on the news at this hour. Do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai MM. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.